complete halt. Air Canada grounds all flights, leaving hundreds of thousands stranded and investors on edge. How did the country's flagship airline spiral into such chaos? And is anyone truly to blame? But here's what makes this story even more heated. The struggle over flight attendant pay isn't just disrupting travel. It's sparking a fierce debate about labor rights and government intervention. Key developments. It all came to a head when 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants boldly refused a government directive to resume work, a move the Canadian Industrial Relations Board quickly deemed unlawful. As a direct result, Air Canada was left with no choice on Monday but to withdraw its financial forecasts for both the current quarter and the entire fiscal year. Even more dramatically, the airline canceled every scheduled flight until further notice, causing unprecedented disruption. According to aviation analytics provider CIRB, over the past 7 days, Air Canada called off more than 2,300 flights, split almost evenly between domestic and international routes. This wave of cancellations has derailed travel plans for nearly 500,000 customers so far, with real-time data on Monday showing over 550 additional flights axed just that day. Unsurprisingly, Air Canada's stock took a notable hit, dropping more than 1.5% by early afternoon, while broader markets saw little movement. What's behind the standoff? Here's where most people get caught off guard. The labor dispute's roots lie in the expiration of Air Canada's agreement with its flight attendants. Negotiations fizzled out after 8 months, prompting the workers to walk out early Saturday morning. Government officials quickly stepped in, asking the Canada Industrial Relations Board to initiate binding arbitration. Despite an official back-to-work order, the union representing flight attendants, the Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE, held firm, refusing to comply. Their defiance left Air Canada with no way to restart service on Sunday, pushing the airline to halt all operations into the work week. When will the stalemate end? Honest answer? No one knows. Air Canada has labeled the work stoppage illegal, while CUPE's stance is unyielding. Our members are not going back to work, insisted CUPE National President Mark Hancock at Toronto's Pearson International Airport, underscoring the union's solidarity. Meanwhile, striking attendants rallied passengers with chants of, "Don't blame me, blame AC," shifting the focus back to the company's leadership. What should stranded Air Canada customers do? If you were planning to fly with Air Canada or its subsidiary Air Canada Rouge, the official advice is clear and stark. Don't even go to the airport, as all flights remain suspended. But there's a small silver lining. Ticketed passengers scheduled to travel through August 22nd can change their flights, free of charge, to any date between August 23rd and September 30th. While not a fix, this rebooking window gives some relief to frustrated travelers. Why are flight attendants refusing to work? And this is the part most people miss. The crux of the strike is something called boarding pay. At Air Canada, as with most airlines globally, flight attendants are only paid for the time when the aircraft doors are shut and the plane is moving. That means critical tasks like preparing the cabin, conducting safety demos, and assisting passengers during boarding all go unpaid. Labor advocates call this not just unfair, but outdated. Sarah Nelson, president of the U.S.-based Association of Flight Attendants, described Air Canada's wages as poverty levels and said the fight was about setting a new standard for the industry. The union argues that if flight attendants are responsible for passenger safety the moment they step on board, their compensation should reflect the work and risks they undertake from the very start. Do U.S. airlines compensate flight attendants for boarding? Another controversial point, only recently have major U.S. airlines started to pay flight attendants for boarding time. Delta Airlines broke new ground in 2022, offering half pay during boarding, largely to counteract a unionization push. Since then, American Airlines and Alaska Airlines have followed suit after marathon negotiations. Interestingly, while a tentative pact for United included boarding pay, it failed to win approval, meaning United and Southwest still don't pay for that critical time. What's the norm for flight attendant salaries? In the U.S., the median annual pay for flight attendants last year reached $67,130, a figure that far surpasses the average wage in many other sectors. However, this headline number doesn't capture the boarding pay battle or address cost of living questions unique to Canada. A message from the top. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney called the failed negotiations disappointing, highlighting how the strike is upending the lives of not just Canadians, but visitors as well. He emphasized the vital safety role flight attendants play and the need for equitable, not just competitive, compensation. Now, here's the real debate. Should flight attendants get paid for every minute they're on duty, or is the current system justified? Does the public inconvenience caused by such strikes outweigh workers' rights to fair pay? Should governments intervene more forcefully, or let the industry and workers fight it out? What do you think? Is Air Canada standing firm for business necessity, or should its flight attendants win this fight for fairer compensation? Where do you stand on government intervention in labor disputes like these? Sound off in the comments. Your opinion matters in this ongoing national conversation.